Retirement is supposed to be the reward for all the hard work that you have done over the years. But what if I told you that one wrong move could unravel everything that you saved for? So today I want to share with you 7 deadly mistakes that you have to watch out for in your first year of retirement and how to avoid turning your first year in a plain disaster. Point number 1 is forgetting to plan for setting money aside to pay your taxes. Unfortunately, guys, it is not going away. And when you start getting your distributions and you start getting your pensions, those deductions, especially for federal and state taxes, are not going to happen. So you have to be vigilant and set money aside for those expenses. Many distributions are going to be taxable, and it does depend on the state where you live in. But if you think about it, your Social Security, your 401k, your pension, your VA benefits, those are taxable in many states. And of course, if you don't think about it, you're going to realize that when you are making plans to do your taxes in April, and I really don't want you to be blindsided and get very anxious about what is going to happen next. My suggestion is to set a reminder in your Google Calendar for every January and July to review your situation and to review what you may have to adjust or tweak to make sure that you are fully prepared for your tax preparation season. I am linking a very handy state-by-state guide under this video to help you figure out what part of your income is going to be taxable so that way you can then be better prepared. Point number 2 is not having a basic retirement budget. As you guys know, we talk about having a budget and having that as a foundation when you are starting to make plans. Well, that is not going to go away. As you head into and start your retirement, your budget should still be a big part of your basic planning and bill paying and something that you look at on the regular basis. And here's why. There are a lot of unknowns in the first year of retirement. You are still kind of getting used to a new schedule. You are going to be making a lot of changes, and all of these things are unknowns and they're very uncomfortable. So you just have to be flexible. There's a very easy retirement budget Excel spreadsheet that I use and I share in some of my other videos. And again, I'm going to post it under this video as well to help you get one started if you haven't done one already. If you already have a spreadsheet that you were using to help you plan for the retirement, my suggestion is just to create a different tab that way you have all of your information in one place, and then everything is going to be an easy find for reference. Item number 3 is living too large. And I get it. It's not easy. You just retired and you feel so free and you're so excited to get started on that list of things that you have set aside and you told yourself throughout your working years that you were going to do until when you got to retirement. Totally understand. But here's a few tips for that. You have to remember that in the beginning of your retirement, those are your most active years because you have most of your health and you have an excitement and you have the energy, which means that you also need to front load and be mindful about the expenses for some of the fun things that you're planning on doing, which should be part of your budgeting that we just talked in the previous point. You may want to help your children or grandchildren with some of their expenses, maybe help them with college education or give them some kind of gifts. That's all great ideas. But before you do all of those things, I really invite you to sit down and think about how those givings and those expenses are going to play into your own budget. Because what you have to be mindful now is that once you're retired, you are going to be living on a fixed income. The income that you were able to save up for, things that you have put aside, and of course your Social Security. And if you're going to be giving money away, is that going to take away from your own healthy living? We're not saying, of course, that you can't do those things. We're just invite you to be mindful and take a breath and to take a step back, evaluate the situation first, so that way you feel comfortable when you want to do those contributions to others. You feel comfortable that it is not setting you back and then hurting you in one way or the other. A great way to do that is if you want to use that same spreadsheet that you use for budgeting, just create another tab. And what you can do is just create this list. Contribute, travel, learn new things, charity, helping family, and etc. And then you may want to put like a corresponding cost next to each of those items to see what that number may be. And then you can go back to your actual budget tab, compare those things, and then ask yourself, when would be the best time for myself to do these contributions so that way I am not hurting my own standard of living. Point number 4 is putting off basic but still extremely important financial decisions. And here's what we're talking about here. Have you structured your financial affairs so that way your heirs know that if something was to happen to you, what should they do next? And here we're talking about a few critical legal documents that each and every one of you should have. And here they are: a will, a trust, durable or specific power of attorney, which is only really usable while you are living, who is the executor of the estate, and healthcare directive. So these are just a few forms that a few elder care and life care attorneys that we work with do recommend. And it is important for you to think about those things. They may not be fun things to think about, but they're super important that if something was to happen to you and you're not able to make decisions, what are your wishes on what you want to happen next? Review the beneficiaries on your accounts. You may want to update them. You may want to check them. And an easy way to do that is once a year, set a reminder on your Google Calendar to go ahead and do that. I think that a month of January, when you set up your whole year after the holidays, it's a great way to do a refresh and take a look at those things because information changes, things change, and you may want to update those records as well. Where are all of your important documents are stored? If you're storing them in the safety deposit box in the bank, if someone needed to get access to it because you cannot make decisions, how would they go about it? If they're on your laptop, do you have a password protected your laptop or even the document? Or perhaps those documents are safely stored in your safe and it's somewhere in your basement and the key is located in a safe place. And where would that be? Who is on your support team? Think of the people that are important to you, and if they needed to figure out what happened to all of your directives, where's all your important documents, what needs to happen next, you need to have a list of people on your team. That could be your accountant, your financial advisor, your attorney, and that executor of the estate. Point number 5 has to do with taking Social Security at the wrong time. Some people take it at 62. Some people decide to wait until their normal retirement age, depending on your age. And some people choose to wait until 70 or so. My suggestion to you is don't take recommendations from your friends and family because all of your situations are going to be different. The circumstances are different. My suggestion to you is head over to the socialsecurity.gov, which is the official website. You should have your account already created. And if not, go ahead and do that. And once you're there, you will see that it is super easy to use and you can use the calculator to help you play around with numbers so that way you can see the difference in your amount if you were to take your Social Security early, if you were to wait until your normal retirement age, or if you wanted to postpone things to see what makes sense to you. Point number 6 is entering retirement with credit card debt. Credit card debt has been the worst. If you look at some of the latest data, it has been the worst since the beginning of times. If you have credit card debt, take a look at the percentage that you are paying if you're not paying off your balance every month. The average is between 20 and 25%. To me, credit card debt is the worst kind of debt you can possibly have. So my suggestion to you, if you do carry it, no matter what the balance is, focus on paying that off as quickly as you can to get rid of that really high interest rate. Point number 7 is getting involved in investments without really understanding or knowing the full story. You really do need to know the risks involved because you are investing a certain amount of money that you have and you are now on the fixed income. Sometimes even financial advisors are not fully equipped to help you understand it depending on what kind of investment that we're talking about. My suggestion to you is ask for references. If somebody was to offer me to invest in Bitcoin, as an example, I can tell you that I know very little about Bitcoin. It is not something that interests me. But let's say that if I had to go that route, I would seek the books on that information. I would want to find out who is the most prominent expert or a couple of experts on Bitcoin in my area. So that way I could go talk to them and ask them questions and have like a list of questions prepared. So that way I can understand it a little bit better to understand the foundation and the basics of what I need to know about Bitcoin as this particular investment. I would also take my time to do the research. If you are being pressured in doing something and saying, oh, well, this opportunity is only available for a limited time, that may not be the right move for you, because you really do need to understand what you're getting involved with and who are going to be those companies or those people who are going to be safeguarding that investment for you. So we talked about the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency. Another way to have investments and to invest your money is in real estate. Well, this is where I can tell you that I am a big proponent of investment in real estate, because 90% of today's millionaires actually have gotten there with real estate investments. I know a lot about it. I am an expert in many ways, so you are welcome to ask me those questions. But at the same time, I don't know everything. So this is where I would still refer and talk to some of the experts in those particular fields of the real estate investments that maybe I don't feel comfortable with. Ultimately, the goal is trust your gut. If you get some kind of information and you're just not feeling it and you're not sure, then trust your gut, wait, and ask for references and do more research. My bonus tip for you today is just to realize that as you are getting adjusted, which is a huge, huge, huge adjustment after you worked full time in a rigid schedule for the last, 30, maybe 40 years, is just be flexible. Think of yourself as being a rubber band, because you're going to have to make adjustments. You're going to have to figure out that pace that you like, that you want to move forward with in your first year and maybe in the next second, third, and fourth years of your retirement. So, how are you guys doing in your first year? What do you like it? What don't you like? And how can we help you make this adjustment so that way you have the best golden years ahead of you? Please let us know in the comments so we can have an amazing discussion.